Hi. Oh my God, I feel like it's been 2 years. Probably has, almost, maybe. I don't know. Anyways, hi. I'm back with another Wattpad book review here on YouTube. Today I am checking out the basically infamous Into Shadows and Escaping Ash by storm-ridden my bestie Aria Brynn Miller. First I'll give you a little bit of the summary. Clear throat. The earth is careening straight down the tracks to hell, and the humans are at fault. Trapped in the dungeons of an ancient burial ground and tortured to the brink of insanity, the fury in Iridian Delacroix's heart can be traced back to the single moment she was stripped away from her other half. Now, it's only the darkness that remains, a wave of memories washed away, and anything resembling a time where humans were safe has long since been erased. After a century of death, a group of survivors discovers the chained goddess of balance left to her own devices. Learning of a way to fix the massacre after all this time, many parties will participate in changing the future. Only, if it's for better or for worse is unknown when each individual has their own skin in the game. Iridian only has one goal in mind: get back to the love of her life or die trying. Now, I've been following this book since it started, sometime last year. And I've kind of fell off because there's just a lot of stuff going on in real life, as in online, that I have to take care of. But the whole point of this book review is really to shed some major love on the story itself. Now, a lot of people love dystopian, obviously. And aside from dystopian, a lot of people, and when I say a lot, I mean a huge crapload of people love the dystopian genre, mainly because of Hunger Games and other different major books. But the fact is, this is a dystopian story as heard. The end of the world, humans at fault. Of course, we know this is going to happen, but it's better when you read it now to get used to the idea that the world is going to end, and it is, in fact, our fault. Next up, it's like Greek mythology. There's a lot of that mixed in, and I have to say, Stormridden does an amazing job at twisting the two genres into each other. I absolutely love it, clearly, or I wouldn't be doing this video. And like I said, I fell off the book, but I'm really trying to get back in. Now, Iridian is our main character, and as stating in the summary, she's trying to get back to her other half, whose name I won't mention, but the story, it's like a romance story wrapped into it, but we're not going to get into that just yet. First things first, check out the book on Wattpad. Second, I'll give you some more detail. Everyone here, I'm assuming, knows dystopian storylines. The world is ending. Someone's trying to do something heroic. She's not really trying to do anything heroic. In fact, she's not even really a person. She's a goddess, an amazing, strong individual who has these flaws that make you love her and at times hate her, but it shows a humanity in this being that most of the time you don't get to see when there are stories with like Greek mythology. Normally, if it's just straight up mythology, you have straight cutoff point. There's gods, there's demigods. That's it. Here we have this goddess whose soul, her entity, is a part of something else, her other half. And without her other half, she's basically dying and losing the little bits of who she has. It's basically killing her to be apart from him. And it's been 97 years that she's been chained up in this terrible place. Now, there are all kinds of creatures roaming the earth now. There are people. Then there are people whose bloods are mixed with things called destroyers. There's a lot of plot in it. In the very first or second chapter on Wattpad, the first chapter is like separated into two parts, but yeah. Since the story is so long, it's, like I said, excellent. You really get into the fact of just how dangerous Iridian is, just how drawn away from humanity she is. She isn't a person, like I said. So she has no regard for human life. But through that very first chapter, you see just how ruthless she can be when she snaps this guy's neck. I mean, it's amazing. Just raw violence that is quite intriguing. I'm not really one for reading violence. I prefer to watch it, but Aria does a great job of bringing that across. And I remember as she was writing it, she asked us, is it bad to kill off a character in the first chapter? And we were like, I mean, it depends, like, who you're talking about. And she's like, well, you'll see. And I saw, and I was like, base, base, base. Just amazing way to end someone's life. She did a great job. And like I said, I'm going to keep going, but I'm gushing here. I continued on in the story, and even the little characters that you thought had absolutely no importance there, that were just going to fade off, had a huge role. They either came back in some amazing way to avenge death, or it, you know what? I'm talking too much. Let's get into this first bit right here. All right. And I'll read you this little bit. My fingers curled tighter around the chains, arms tearing down at the shackles to demonstrate helplessness. Your inheritance brought balance in half. They slit open a seam in the foundation of time and space. Tell me, Destroyer, did you know? Know what? Know that people like you brought this world to its knees. The whisper is barely audible. Each god has their own power source. Each god is of their own control. Save for us. We are one, Destroyer, and you tore us down the center. I might be only as strong as a human for myself, but God forbid you touch him. Now, that's just a little bit of the beginning of the second part of chapter 1 before said character is killed off. And that's just showing you the raw emotion that she's put into this book. It really makes you feel how she's feeling, just how close she is to this other half that she's going to be searching for throughout the entire book. Now, I'm not sure if she's going to do a book series or if it's just going to be the one book, Into Shadows and Escaping Ash. But for right now, I have to say she's doing an amazing job. There's some other plot points that I'd like to get into, but I don't want to give too much away. That's not my style. I'll read you a small piece from chapter 10. I felt like a child. In her arms, I cried quietly for over an hour. The notion of hurting Lyndon in any capacity felt like a million daggers striking my heart all at once. Hot metal, vicious cuts, merciless and painful. Micah flinches, never wavering and gently keeping my hair away from my soaking cheeks. It doesn't have to be this way, she whispers. How do you know severing the connection won't destroy us both entirely? I say, a vacant ache consuming my voice. My vision burns and blurs together into a sea of colors. Charred reds and sailing blues, a deep mahogany brown spreading where the fire spared the ground. It meshes into a world of dark sadness, the light fading from outside. When I close my eyes, I feel his hand lacing through my own and see the light coming from inside. Pure and happy, something so free about being the conscious embodiment of joy and safety. Lyndon looks at this world and marvels at its beauty. He doesn't feel the same overwhelming disgust, something I was so grateful for until I'd been forced into solitude. Lyndon, obviously, is her other half. Here you just heard a little bit about just the difference between them. While she's completely fierce, all about death and war, kill all the humans, I don't care. He's the light. They're like yin and yang. What she feels, he's the opposite, but they complete each other when intertwined, when together, they complete this separation, this imbalance that they have. So on that note, again, please check out Into Shadows and Escaping Ash by Stormridden on Wattpad. I'll put a link in the description below, and I would love all of you, whoever sees this, to check out Iridian's story. In it, you'll meet some amazing characters who initially you'll think, oh, well, they're dead. If this is her game, just kill the humans that piss her off, then they're completely dead. But no, she really shows some humanity, and she grows, and she becomes more of a person instead of just someone who is, a god that doesn't give a shit about human life. She really continues to show humanity and show that she can feel that what she is feeling, though she's trying really hard to bury it, like some of us do. She has it. It's in there. And at first, even if all she's focused on is her end game, which is finding and reuniting with Lyndon, you see her start to care for others and give a crap about their life. There's also this amazing freaking fight scene where she meets up with another goddess that is killer. That you just have to read. She really plows into it. She's great at descriptions, Aria. She is amazing at telling a story and at describing fight scenes for that matter. So definitely check it out. And I will see you back here, hopefully not in another 2 years. Yeah. Reason for my absence, I had a baby. She's awesome. And I'm just doing a lot more with life. Hopefully coming soon with some new books. Maybe I'll one day review my own book, which won't seem like a shameless political plug. But yeah. Thank you for tuning in. This was a Wattpad book review with Tease. Please check out my profile, Tease Finley. Again, link in the description below. And